Alright, so this is Dan. I'm going to be clearing my throat a lot. I'm sorry if that's going to be distracting. But I I'm just going to be doing some song things, I guess, just to pass the time. And because I haven't really done any song-related things in a long while. And, well, I have nothing prepared, which is probably a very bad idea. But it's not going to be something I throw together very quickly. It's going to be one of those half-hour, maybe hour-long bits of video where I throw a part together. Maybe I might manage to throw a song, like a very weak sauce song together. But I haven't really done much music related recently. I've enjoyed flying through space, if you've seen my other videos about Elite Dangerous. Also shout out on that front to PJ, who sold me a flight stick and throttle controller for that game. But anyway, back to music for the moment. I've got Prepared Reason, or Reason Studios Reason 11, and it's just to recap a bit, it's a digital audio workstation type software that's been around in various iterations since probably the early 2000s, by what was initially known as Prepared Software. And they had first released this software called Rebirth, which was sort of like a TR-808 kind of emulation or kind of redo in software form. Something that would sort of replicate the feel of that instrument. And then they released Reason, which was really just a couple of modules and a drum machine, basically, or a couple of a synth sampler and a drum machine module. And let's just say it's expanded since then. So what we've got here is the Reason window with the rec view viewable. We also have the big mixer view, big mixer view, and then we've got the rec view, and we've got the sequencer view. We can have those in a couple of different combinations. Say the big mixer in the rec, the rec in the sequencer, the big mixer and the sequencer, and so on and so forth, or all three. And then they also have a couple of tool settings, a virtual piano, and they also have, there's the piano, and I believe the next key over you get browser list, which was a fairly recent inclusion, where you can scroll through the lists of instruments you have, whether they're built into Reason or whether they're VSTs. I'll primarily be using the, so to speak, in-house Reason instruments here. But I figured, why not throw together a song, because it's a nice day, I guess, and I hope I'll catch some questions as we go along and answer them as best as I can. Why don't I pull up social media here, and alright, so going to do a lot of talking at first, I guess. So I've got, what I typically do is have a template set up with a whole bunch of modules in place. For the purpose of streaming, I'm probably not going to do that because it looks like a lot, and there would be a lot of questions. I mean, there are probably going to be a lot of questions to begin with. What's he doing? What's all this stuff here? Why is this over here? And so on and so forth. These are basically my effects track for the mixer. But yes, the template that I tend to use, has a whole bunch of modules in there that are kind of thrown at you. They're in your face, and I don't want to confuse anyone if I'm going to be talking about what I'm doing while I'm doing it. And forgive me if I go off track, but again, I'll try to do my best to try to explain what I'm doing and try to explain what is going on the screen. That being said, so what kind of music do we want to do before we even really start? Could go all over the place. Could go with some sort of ambient kind of chill out kind of thing. We could do some hard rock kind of thing. We could do, I don't know, something crazy experimental. And, oh, hello, Alyssa. I just happened to change screens here. But, yeah, so any sort of musical style under the sun. I tended to favor starting doing electronic music more kind of pop-like arrangements with kind of like strings and pad sounds, kind of giving it like a relaxing quality, tonally speaking. And then I got into doing this more gothy, like industrial type style under the name Dr. DK, which I still do, pandemic aside. And I have to be honest, I kind of thought that was a fluke, in a sense, where I thought, this sounds cool to me. I will throw this song together, a particular song that some of you might know. And I performed it at an open mic, and after I got the reaction I did from the crowd, the back of my mind was telling me, what the heck just happened? What monster have I created? So, I made a song. It somehow became, at least in this little area, popular, or maybe, a lot of people appreciated it, they enjoyed it, they liked it, and it was interactive. It had a repetitive quality to it, vocally, where it had that interaction. This particular word was repeated several times in the chorus, and it was also the title of the song. For those of you in the know, I don't think I have to say it. But as I affectionately say, it's a song about car parts. So that was done in sort of a, dare I say, nu metal style, almost kind of, or maybe kind of like Rammstein, some people might say, is kind of close to that. So I mean, I go all over the place with various styles. I've even played accordion and done polkas and played in world music bands, with playing the occasional accordionist for certain songs. So I'm not afraid to try different things, and therein lies the rub. So all these different avenues that we could explore, and it's hard to choose just one. So to bring that down here, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to start with what I know, because that's typically what you do. And so I will start by creating a drum track of some kind. And to that end, I will create a Redrum module. Here we go. And the nifty thing about Reason is, visually speaking, you can flip the rack around and see all the fancy wires and all the ports and everything. And given this iteration of Reason, we see that there's one mixed channel track here. And we can see that in the big mixer view by this channel strip with the orange tab down below. Excuse me. And so what we want to do is, or what I like to do, is to separate out all of these drum channels on the Redrum into separate mixer channels. And how do we do this? We remove that. That seems scary at first, but once we see what we're doing here, I'm going to duplicate this 10 times, this mix channel, or do it 5 times for this one channel, and then duplicate that once. So now we have 10 channels, and this is why I kind of like having a template. I take that back, but then it's a case of doing this, making sure we either drag the wires or we go to the mix channel, and we set that there. Too bad we can't automate this, but this will take a moment. Oh, input. All right. This should go into the, oh, that's not the side chain, I'm sorry. That's supposed to go into the, okay. Wait a second. Let's skip that. Let's try that again. All right. So this takes a little prep work. Kind of like you're making a meal in your kitchen, but once you've got all the ingredients ready to go, you can cook. And 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So it's fairly simple and straightforward. Just repeat the same process over and over until we have all the inputs connected. There we go. So now we have our channels. We can see that appear as well. Along with that, I like to take all the mixed channels and create a bus, a group bus. What does this mean? Well, this means that we can set all of these channels individually on their volumes and panning and so on and so forth, all the effects. And then ultimately those get routed through this channel, and we can affect the relative volume of all these channels with this, and the panning, and we can add any effects to the entire group in here, or we can just use the big mixer's side. We can use the big mixer's effect sends to modify the audio coming out of this, or any other instruments. All right, so we got our redrum wired up. Let's find an appropriate basic example. So, what I say, like ambient kind of chill out electronic music, maybe. This is going to be very cheesy, probably, but we'll see. That is not going to work. All right. I think I could work with that. All right, so let's call that, and we want a snare. Whoops, there we go. Snare drums. Now, we're not limited to these. What I'm doing is importing basically little audio files that contain sound of each type of drum hit. Could be anything from an actual drum kit or an electronic drum set to a sneeze or a door slam, or could be the sound of a bird squawking or something like that. And that could all be shaped within the program to sound however you like, close to whatever it is that you're going for. Say like a drum hit of some kind, a percussive hit, or a hi-hat kind of sound. In this case, I'm looking for a snare drum, and I just really think a snare drum would be fine. But not that sort of snare drum. Maybe something a little lighter, but not that light. Ooh, something that sounds a little less hollow. Maybe. Already has a bit of reverb on it. I'd want it to be dry. Okay, that might work. Alright, now we go to channels, I believe it's 7 and 8, or is it 8 and 9? There is a setting in redrum. Oh, how do I do this? Move this over. I cannot move this over. There we go. There's a setting in redrum which allows 2 of the channels, here we are, channels 8 and 9, to be exclusive. What this means is that relative to each other, if I were to have, I believe it's channel 8 be a closed hi-hat sound and channel 9 be an open hi-hat sound, then triggering channel 8 while the audio from channel 9 is playing will interrupt channel 9. So it's like you have a, well, to demonstrate from using my mouth, closed hi-hat would be the ch in a drum set kind of sound. An open hi-hat would be a ch, almost like a ride cymbal or like a crash cymbal. And so you might hear it in a disco beat. You might hear the closed hi-hat interrupting the open hi-hat. Kind of, and that is certainly possible to do in ReDrum, and I usually turn that on just because it's convenient. And moving forward to that, I'm going to choose a couple of closed and open hi-hats. I already like that one. Let's go with that one. And that's not what I wanted to do. Let's see if I can drag this over to channel 8. That's my closed hi-hat. Just make sure. Yep, cool. Alright, and now let's make channel 9 our open hi-hat. Scroll down to the OH. It's kind of cool, but it's not what I'm looking for. Too airy. Closer to what I'm looking for. It's like a standard hi-hat, but maybe a little tinnier sounding. Too tinny. Also, some of these sound kind of stretched to my ears, but I could be wrong. Alright. Kinda. I like that a little more between the two of those. That's pretty generic TR-909 kind of hi-hat. You know what? I'll go with this one because I like the 909. Okay. All right, so we've got those. We've also got some space for maybe some toms or something and some other percussions. For now, I'll go with this. Executive decision, and I'm going to create a MIDI track. And I'm going to close this. So here we have a MIDI track. I'm going to press W to activate the pencil tool, and we're going to click in a clip for MIDI, or a MIDI clip. Now we've got to expand this. We're going to decrease this viewer slider here. It's probably a better way to do this, but that's what I got. So now we have all the channels of the ReDrum here, and you can see where the names of the wave files are that we loaded up. There we go. So we can click in our notes. I usually do that with my drums. And we want to make sure that we have, if you want to go with the 4 on the floor sound, we can click on the first downbeat, on the downbeat of every measure, the bass kick. So now we have the bass kick here, and want to turn the looping on, and that's going to be, the end of that is going to be, that loop that I want to select is measure 2. So I placed some loop markers here, so we can play this and it'll loop around and around. There we go. So we've got our bass kick, and now we can go back and add in our snare. See how that sounds. There we go. Okay. Now, if you remember what I said about the group tracks and the grouping of the ReDrum tracks, the drum tracks, we can go to our big mixer, and you see all of these. We can adjust the volume as needed of each of the parts, and what I wanted to do on the snare drum is to find a bit of reverb on it, just a little bit, not too much. So if we take a look, you can see here. So that's the snare drum track. Oops. That's interesting. Oh, that's... Huh. Okay, I may have made an error here. Let's fix that quickly. Great, delete that. And I will recreate the drum group. Sorry about that. All right. That's better. Okay. Huh. Okay. I think I see what happened. I'm sorry. Once again. So when I selected the group, each of those probably had some sort of a group ID. Okay. So I'm going to leave it as this. Huh. All right. I think I may need to change a few things around here, but I will do this. There we go. That'll work. All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay. I'll fix this in a little bit here, but what I also like to do is create a sense of space, not just with reverb, but hopefully that's not too loud. I'll turn that down. Sorry about that. I just realized how loud it was in my streamer. Okay. Alright, so now I want to make sure that I get some panning done. Create a little space. I usually like to pan it like a regular drum kit, like I would expect the for, I guess, a right-hander, maybe a left-hander. I'm poor with handedness, but the way I've started a drum set when I tried playing on it, the snare drum was on the left, along with the hi-hat, and then you'd had your various cymbals above to the right, and the toms below to the right of that as well. And the kick drum, of course, at the very bottom in the center, more or less. So I try to space it out like that with the panning to give it a sense that it's not just some single down the middle kind of sound. And so we've got a drum track, kind of. Now let's go back here and let's do the generic, generic hi-hat. I think I have it a little bit. 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. Want to do that and oh, it's not like a certain other program I also use. Okay, so I'll fix that. Oop. Okay. Right, that should be fine. Alright. So now we can expand this, and I'll duplicate this clip. Actually, no, I won't. I will expand this clip to make it 4 measures, and provided this behaves in the way I hope it would. Oh, good. Okay. So with a little adjustment, can do that, and we can do that. Oh. Okay, So here's the good news. We've got a 4-bar drum track. The bad news is it could use some improvement. But for now, let's leave it as it is. Might just throw an extra snare in here at the end, just to give it a more of a conclusion at the end of the loop, to know that we're starting the loop over again. So there we go. We've got 50% of the way with the drum track. Probably not even that, but it's a place to start. All right, so now let's think about what we want to do for our bass. Let's make our bass with what I've usually used, Subtractor, really old module. It's been there since the beginning, and I've left the patch, the sound initialized, because I don't like the idea of autoloading some default pre-made sound. There's a certain rawness to the initialized sound that I like, and then I can shape it from there. And if I want to go to a patch, then I can always click the open patch button and browse for sounds. That being said, I keep my bass, very basic, and so I'll make a few adjustments here. I'll enable the second oscillator here of 2 oscillators, and then I will let this be an octave below. Oscillator 2, an octave below the first oscillator. Detune it slightly from the first, just to kind of give it a little bit of dissonance, but not too much. On the amp envelope, which is amplitude, volume, if you will, I will raise the release on the envelope a little bit, just to give it a little bit of a tail, so that when a key is released, you can hear the difference if I raise this up further. And go all the way down to the bottom. So I a little bit, so let's say, that's quite a bit actually, but I like roughly around, say, or call it like 45%, 40-45% on the release of the amp envelope. And really that's all there is to that I do. Actually also play around with the filter 1 here. I adjust the mode to low pass 24. What that means is along the EQ spectrum there will be the EQ spectrum will be divided into 24 paths as opposed to 12, which is the default. So there's a greater resolution when you're adjusting the EQ through there will be 24 sets of frequency bands to adjust. So a lot finer control if you're looking to do that. And then I'll take down the frequency filter to create a little bit less brighter, to make it a little less brighter there. So I'll just show you what that means here. So yeah, I like to bring that down a little bit. All right, and let's see what else is there. Is there a mod envelope? I probably will try, and I may not succeed, but I may try to adjust this here. I'd like to go to the opposite direction actually. That's interesting. So what I'm doing here is adjusting the frequency envelope. Basically taking what's coming out of the low pass filter, low pass filter here, and I'm adjusting the curve that is triggered, the curve of the frequency sweep that is triggered by a note. So you hear that. So I'm basically saying, take this band, and then take that frequency, cut it in half, and then when I release the key, it goes back up. If there's any way I could actually not have to worry about the second half of that part where it goes back up, I'd rather it just not go up. I wouldn't want that frequency to brighten again at the end. It just seems a little. It just seems to go against what I'm conceiving in my brain here. If there is anyone who has an idea of how to fix that, or how to change that so it just goes boom, boom, then that would be great. But as it is, seems not to make a difference however I do it. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, that's the mod envelope. Interesting. Sorry about that. This is taking me off track. So I will actually undo all of this. Sorry about that. So this is the part where Dan doesn't really know what he's doing. I kind of do, but I am going off of the rails here. That is kind of cool from a textural standpoint, but what I'd really like to have is just a bass sound. So I will. Okay. That's kind of cool. Alright, let's add filter 2. That's kind of cool. Kind of an acid-like feel, like acid rave kind of stuff. Anyway, so, and did a bit of noodling there. So what do we want to do? Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I had to click there. We can listen to our beat here. I think I'd like to make it either slower or faster. I'm not sure which. I'll go slower for now. but I want to make it ambient. So, okay, I think I know what I'm going to do. It'll be probably very 90s in some respects, but that's perfectly fine. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay, that's not going to work. Let's go all the way back. Alright. Cool. And I will move you. Whoops. I will move you. I will not be able to grab you, but I will now move you. There we go. Alright. Let's see what happens. Oh gosh, that's terrible. Okay. Might have better luck if I actually just try to perform this. Alright. Going to cheat here. Okay. And get myself a count in. Okay. That was played terribly, and I make no excuses. But it is what it is, as one might say. Alright, and let's see what quantizing does. It'll probably do a number on this, even more so. That's actually not bad. That was actually more impressive than I thought it would be. Alright, let's go back to the main sequencer view here instead of the MIDI clip view in the sequencer. And so we've got our drums, and we've got our bass, and we've got a kind of a 4-bar loop going. What else do we want? Let's do some pad sounds. I'll use a sound I used in at least one tune, if I can find it. Oops. Go to pads. Euphorium Slow, I believe it was. It's a nice kind of airy, light sound. Almost sounds like it's a very sad tune. Let's see. Okay. So, I kind of like that. I might adjust the bass after that, but let's go with this. Definitely bring down the volume on the pads because that's really bright and really, really loud. Excuse me. And I'll put some echo on this, or reverb. Maybe a little bit of delay if I have it. It's like I'm going down like a dark alley at night by some club or something. I don't know. Actually, that's an interesting idea. So here, I'm going to go to my rack. Speaking of noises, I'm going to go into the audio track, create an audio track, and hopefully this doesn't kill my ears if I did this the right way. I am going to put the record on. Oops. Let's see. Mute solo bypass. Oh, record. Nope. That is not what I'm seeking. But I will go into here. Oh, record is already on. I just don't have the audio set up here. Let me just fix this. Okay. Hold up, this might be weird. Apologies in advance. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Well, this is interesting. I won't be able to record myself doing vocal stuff. That's okay. That's alright. So let's scratch that for now. And let's move on to the next thing. So, got another instrument. Let's pull it up, and I feel like adding a piano because I'm just that person. So I will pull up the piano. Oops. And I'll go with trusty old B grand piano. And let's see how that sounds. All the white keys, they're on the lower level, they're all kind of in the same plane. And the black keys, they're all up in this other plane. And I'm just trying to keep it simple, so either all one or the other. But let's give it a little bit of reverb. Not quite what I'm going for. Ooh, actually. I like that. Okay. Okay, little flourish. Alright, so go back to sequencer. And let's see what this sounds like. Kind of like where that's going. Kind of chill vibe. Probably fit for any, Pure Moods album or something like that. So let's actually create another additional bar out of this, or 4 bars. So we have the loop playing twice. And then we can record the piano passage of some sort, just jam out with myself. And have that recorded, so we have something down. average, but pleasing. Okay, so I kind of like that as the I kind of like having that piano bit as the last four, because that flourish kind of indicates to me that the song would transition to another section entirely. So we'll just build out this as an 8-bar section totally, like a verse kind of thing. And so on and so forth. And then have the piano kind of join it as an accompaniment for the second part of that, or maybe like a second verse adjoining the first. And then that flourish at the end of the piano would lead to another section entirely. Maybe not straying way left field from what we've got here, but to indicate that along with some other sonic bits at the end of this this phrase here, we could transition to another section like pre-chorus or some other sound like the fill before we get to a chorus, that sort of thing. So we've got our basic verse kind of structure here. Could have some vocals, and then the next part of that second verse, or the second part of the first verse. And so on. So vocals interspersed between the piano and then the flourish at the end. And then you move on to that part. I explained that probably way longer than I could have. I could have done that a bit more succinctly. So, moving right along, let's actually do that second section then. So I'll move this slider over, and just so we have some rhythm behind the next section. Should we do a pre-chorus? Should we do a chorus? It's like jumping right in. Should we do a fill? It's up to me, I guess. Decisions are where they can be very hard to make. But I'll say pre-chorus. So we can alter the chords of the pad sounds. We can alter the bass melody. We can alter so many different things. So just to get an idea of the, just to get an idea down for the pads, I have kind of like a D minor thing starting out. Kind of like, this will sound up so generic and cheesy, but you know. I kind of like that. Hopefully I remember this. I'll duplicate the drums a bit. So I think it was D minor, E minor, C, and then A minor with a flatted third, I guess you could say, A, B, E. I'm not sure if that's the appropriate term. And then a drawn out F to E to create some tension, or maybe an E7, or maybe both, going from one to the other. Oh. I messed that up. Alright, let's go over here. Alright, I hope I didn't record over that, but I'll move right along. Okay. Alright, so we've got our chords laid down, and you know what? That actually sounds like... Oh, let's make some adjustments here. That actually sounds like we could wrap that around again, because it sounds like an effective pre-chorus we could do twice. Oop, we could wrap that chords twice here. There we go. Alright, and let's go back here. And I'll bring up the bass. Okay. Getting a feel for like a bass line we could throw together. I will also adjust the loops, the loop points from 17 to 33. There we go. Okay, so I think I'll just do one run through, record it with one run through, and I'm not going to just do 4 bars of playing. I'll do 8 bars of playing. Actually, 1, 2, I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 16, I'm sorry. Yeah, not enough coffee in the day. 3, 4, 2. Yeah, so that's 16 bars. So, okay, I already messed that up, so let's go back. Listen to the chords. C, that funky A minor chord. F, okay. And then E. Okay, I think I have it now. I'm going in, basically, I'm going in a D minor kind of step up, whereas I should go from, it's kind of a fun, weird chord. Actually, let's go back to the 17th measure here. Okay. Clearly I need more practice. Let's try that again. Oop. And fatigue is starting to set in. Let's see here. I will admit, that was terribly done. Or it could have been done better. I have something down. That's what matters. And yes, I did quantize. Actually, let's listen to that first note again. Okay. That's where that note was. It sounds like someone's kind of burping. Okay, so let's move that. I like it. That's being a stronger note, so I'll move that. That's a weird transition. I mean, it made sense in the context of the E chord. But it sounds a little odd. I'm going to keep it for now. Okay, so we got that. That sounds reasonable for a chill tune. Put it on like Magic 106.7 or something like that. But let's go with it. So I'm just going to record some piano. Now, the idea here is I'm trying not to focus too much on the fine details of the song. I'm just trying to get some kind of a structure out, because otherwise I just get carried away I would get carried away with, just like playing around with knobs and things for the sound. Sort of what I do. That's kind of my workflow, whereas some might just start with the sound design process itself for a particular, very specific sound that they're looking for, and then they base a song maybe off that sound that they created, which is a totally valid way to do something. And my way may be less me in the sense that I'm using more presets, but I guess one might say I take an arrangement structured approach. So it's just like, A, B, A, B, then chorus, and then so on and so forth. I kind of like look at the grand picture first. So we've got our verses, we've got our pre-chorus, and then we want something maybe a little bit, not bombastic, but maybe something that is maybe a little harder hitting. Let's go take that loop to 33. 43 and 49. Okay. This space, I have a new computer keyboard, and the buttons, all the buttons are really sensitive, including the space bar, which happens to, it's the slightest tap, it launches the sequencer. So we've got the drum beat again. All right, I will need to work on varying that at some point. So this would be, the chorus would be I can't speak today. The chorus would be a good place to start that variation, to differentiate the chorus section from everything else. But actually, I'm going to approach it from a bass line perspective here. So let's stretch this out, and I'm going to go full on like chordy sequencer kind of thing, where I'm going to have a, I think it's 16th note resolution for this. Hopefully I've got it already on the right one. Oh, wait, here, 1/16th, yes. Okay, so provided this is correct. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay. Oh, that's that. I'm not going to say what I think that sounds like. Yeah. Okay, so I cannot do that. Certain controls I've gotten accustomed to in another program, and those don't translate to this. That's okay. It's just something that I need to adjust to here. This coming from a person who's used Reason more than any other program. But I haven't touched music in a while, like I said earlier, so let's see what this sounds like. That still sounds absolutely ludicrous. I've got this zoomed way too far in. That's part of the issue. Okay. Alright, let's look at that and... Okay. Okay. So maybe it might be helpful if I did this. Oops. If I selected both of these guys and expanded them. Nope. What is going on here? Okay. Sorry. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Right. Good. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Whoops. Okay. Oof. I'll adjust that to go over here. Okay. Yes, I cheat. This might be considered a form of cheating, but it's one of the ways to do things. Could also use... I could also use a sequencer module. and automate the patterns, which might be handy. Okay. I'll fix this. What do I want? I want this to go down, probably to a D. And here we go. Okay, there's got to be a better way to do this, but I'll do this. Oop. Okay, well, I could do something like this. Okay, I have an idea of stepping the last few notes up. Oops, need to move these a little bit to the right. And maybe could make this like this. That's a little weird, but I'll keep it because that's just how I am. Okay. Alright. So that took way longer than that should have probably, but this sounds utterly cheesy. Okay. Okay, so all right. This almost sounds more like a pre-chorus than the pre-chorus. Okay, well, I'll roll with it. Oh gosh, that sounds like a chords from a certain Christmas song that I despise, but I'm not going there after that. Okay. That's fine. All right. Interesting that the bass now sounds really loud, but it sounds okay. It'll be right. Okay, so all right, so what else do we have here? What am I doing? I mean, this is like late night, like come down music or something. I don't know. A little bit of a mix up there. So that's nice. Okay, cool. All right. So what else would we have here? Oh yes, the drums. Right. So I think what I'll do is I will remove these MIDI clips for the drums. And I think I will actually add a different hi-hat here, or some sort of other percussive element. Probably a faint hi-hat would be nice. Whoops. That's not what I wanted. There we go. Yeah. So that will work. I'll put you there. Numbers channel 7. Number channel 7. Yeah, that works. Okay, so channel 7 we have Brassic. Alright. Whoops. What have I done? Okay. I have gone to the wrong MIDI clip because the clip I'm looking for is, close. Clip I'm looking for is right here. Alright, so there we go. Oh no, that's 30-second notes, isn't it? Yeah. Right. Oh, not even 30 seconds, 64ths. Oh, geez. Alright, change that to 16ths. That's sane. Okay. That works. Okay, that'll work. So I will get all these duplicate. Interesting that that grabs the 2 notes above, but here we are. Yeah, I just want to make sure. Oh, there we go. Whoops. Duplicate the drum track, MIDI clips, and go back here. And I want to make sure I adjust the volume of that. To actually do it here. So we've got some soft, pure moods vibe going on here. We've got 3 sections. Here we go. I'm not really sure how I feel about the melody and the bass now. I kind of like the idea, but I think I'd like to lengthen the notes here because these are way too short. Or maybe they're just way too bright. That seems to be it. But actually, I am going to do something else that might be considered a little odd. I'm going to throw some chorus on here. Here we go. Built-in devices, and I'll just go with the old style chorus. That's over here. Ooh. Just a little touch. It's almost like it's like Muzak. I guess I'm making Muzak instead of music, but hey, it counts, I guess. Good old Reason. Yep, hey Ken. Hey Amanda. It's a weird D note at the high end there in the bass. This section, okay, so as we go into the section that has the hi-hats here, the 16th notes hi-hats. I think what we need to do, well, we as if I'm two people or more, but I think we need to add an open hi-hat, really, and I will put that where each of these open hi-hats, both of these, are. So what I'll do is very carefully highlight and then remove those, and then I will add the open hi-hat. Hopefully that isn't too loud. And move that there. I will use that hi-hat sparingly, that open hi-hat, because if I make it sound like every single time that once in a while closed hi-hat sounds, on every single time that happens, it will sound too much. So I will probably do something like this, like right about here. So move that. Oh, what happened? Okay. So like that. And I'll shift this over and move. Take that out. Take that out. So. And then. Oops. Why does it like doing that to me? There we go. That'll work. That'll work for me. And then I'll just duplicate everything because I'm a lazy person. Right. So I'll throw you there. And cool. Kind of like that accident. That's pretty cool. All right. Hey, Mark. Thank you, and thank everyone else for commenting there in Facebook and other places. I'm just doing this for fun. I'm doing this because I want to. I'm doing this because I honestly need practice and getting back into it after I've done it for a while, honestly. Even if it's just something as what to me would be fairly simple as doing, 4 different tracks of instruments. It's just not very often as well that I talk about it or try to talk about it while I'm doing it. So the cognitive load is very high, as it were. Okay, so what I think I will do now is take all of this and move this here. And then I will duplicate just these guys, and I'll put that over there. Kind of creating a ethereal opening. 4, 3, 2, 1. And we can start singing in that place where the drums start. And so on and so forth. You get the idea. do like a little drum fill or something just before that. So I'm going to do that. I'll put that there. And it would be nice to have some percussion, like hand drums or maybe some toms or something. I can place those in. There's the snare. There it is. Maybe I have some additional snares. All right. Cool. And also, here's a fun thing we can do with this clip. We can add some automation, if I can find out how, if they haven't changed it too much. Okay, so what I'm thinking is bring up the level of... Actually, I could probably do it this way. I could bring up the level of automation for the snare drum itself just at a certain point at the end of that clip. Why don't I bring up all three of those views, the mixer, the rack view, and the sequencer. We can just go here. So we know we want to isolate this particular track. Oh. And we've already got an effect here, which is the live end, drum live end. Okay. Okay. That's a bit much. Okay. We could do that, or we could say add. Oh, that's absolutely nuts. Yeah. And then we've got the gate here. Echo, rather. That's not quite. I kind of like it there. That's cool. All right. So I want to automate that. I'm trying to figure out how. How? We could just do this. Edit automation. Here we go. All right. Let's bring it over here. So right around here. Okay. Right here. Okay. Let's bring that automation in. That's all you need to do. Place the clip. It automatically enables it just for that moment. And we got ourselves a nice little snare drum intro, or snare drum kind of intro, interesting bit. But then I also want to do some toms. Alright, so let's go to channels 3, 4, and 5, and let's go to toms. Handily, there is actually a folder called toms. There we go. Those sound too real. I mean, I appreciate it, but it's not what I'm looking for. You'd think they'd have them in actual sets of 3, but I kind of like that, actually. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. Whoops. Right. Cool. Alright, and we can now go back to this clip. Do. Okay. Oops. Oh, I went backwards actually. Sorry about that. That will probably be totally inaccurate, but alright. That's kind of weak, but it's there. That's really what I care about. Okay, so we've got our intro. We've got our verses, we've got our pre-chorus, and then we've got our what passes as what I guess would be our chorus. Anywho, all right, so how long is this song now? We have it at 2 minutes. Okay. And this video has probably gone on far longer than 2 hours. But all right. Or it could be used just to introduce the drums, maybe. Yeah, this is definitely more department store music. Pleasing, but it's lacking a certain something. Why don't we go dramatic? Why do you say that, Dan? Well, just because I want to try to kick it up a notch. So let's go... Oh, where is that? Built-in devices, Reason Studios. Oh, here we go. Oops. That's what I find weird about these context menus sometimes. They're a little finicky. Alright. So we got a complex modular synthesizer. I must have forgotten about that. But anyway, we got layers, wave edition, parsec spectral synthesizer. That sounds interesting. Processed piano, radical keys, also pianos. Reason drum kits, electric bass. Okay. CD hybrid instrument, or hybrid. Oomph. Club drums, and oomph retro beats. I'm sure there's some intersection between those two. Anyway, I thought I had something else here. Oh, here we go. That's what I was trying to look for. All right. So let's take a look at what we got here. Got female and male choir type stuff. Okay, that's apparently it. Okay. And Venus and Mercury and Mars. I'm assuming Mars means probably war or more aggressive sounding choirs. Mercury is the god of haste. So I imagine like maybe quick stabs of choirs, maybe, but also possibly aggressive, or maybe just really light and airy. But then I would think Venus would be light and airy. Because there's one way to find out. Let's pick one at random here. Natural. Let's go with natural, just for the heck of it. Okay, that's Mercury. And then we go to Mars. Natural. Much more aggressive sounding. There's something weird about that bottom note in the choir. It's like, oh, it's kind of like bending up a little bit. That sounds really weird to me. And then we got the Venus en natural. Okay, so how does that differ from the female en natural? Oh gosh. Ooh. Okay. Sorry for the visceral reaction there. It's just like, that was really unexpected. That was like in the middle of my head. Alright. So, male en natural I expect to be similar, where it's not as ensemble and spaced out. Yeah. Okay. Let's go with that. Oh, it's processed. Okay. That's also processed, but robot-like. We're going from Muzak to, like, generic movie trailer. Actually, hilariously, that almost works in a very cheesy 80s, 90s dramatic kind of way. Like, here's this, like, I thought I loved you kind of way, or like, we were so close together, that sort of thing, and then all of a sudden, but things got bad, kind of way. Doom chorus. Maybe not doom metal chorus, but like, oh my gosh, here's all of a sudden a lot of tension. So. Okay, so it kind of like, it was like very moving, kind of like inspiration. Very cheesy again, but I'm gonna go with it. The higher you get with the pitch, the more artificial it sounds. It kind of reminds me of like the old samplers that you'd record like a second of your voice saying like, hey, or something like that, and you go, hey, 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 as you play up the keys. I like the idea. it's pure cheese when it happens, but let's see here. Oh, that's going to move on here. Okay, I'll go back to this and see what that sounds like. That one note needs to be fixed. And there we go. Bump you up half a note. Kind of gets messy toward the end. Okay, so now here I'll duplicate this entire instrument. I'll remove the MIDI clips, and the idea that just came to me is that'll provide some ooze. And I don't mean like Secret of the Ooze, but more like, if I can find them here, some ooze. I kind of like that delayed stepping up of the chords compared to the rest of the song. I'll go with that. It was an accident, but I like the accident. And I know there was a mistake somewhere in the middle here. It sounded a little muddy or messed up a bit, but let's see what, oh, actually check that out. It's not too bad, unless I didn't go back far enough. say that's kind of a fun, kind of like unexpected pause, like 2, 3, 4. But we could do that. We can make that work. All right. Okay. Stretch that rectangle. Stretch that triangle. Yes, triangles don't quite work in this program. Right. And let's see. Ooh. Okay, so my thoughts are, yes, put in a break. Could just be something as simple as a 4 on the floor bass kick for one measure, and then we get back to our regularly scheduled verse. All right, so we can plop that in here. Might have to do some adjustments. That was terrible, but let's see what. Actually, again, a perfectly wonderful accident. But I will also include snare along with some automation that I had from the previous point, and I will duplicate that over here. Okay, so I mean, basic structure idea, pretty good. And then we can just copy this because we're lazy. Just get the arrangement down. Like a Donna Summer feel on the bass line. I feel love kind of thing. Now, this is just coming in at, what have we got? Just under 4 minutes, which is nice, just a nice length for a song. Most pop songs are like roughly that length. This could be like a medium pace, like ballad almost. I could picture, say, George Michael singing over something like this, or someone who has kind of like a I guess the appropriate music theory has been a long time ago, but like for me it was a long time ago, but like a tenor voice, like sorry, my voice is shot, but from talking a lot, not just from tonight or today, but yeah, I could picture someone with that range. Just the first one that came to mind, George Michael, kind of like, or someone in a similar vocal range singing along. Some lyrics about, I don't know, maybe some generic relationship stuff going on. Although George Michael would probably be a much better lyricist than I. living or not, shall we say. However, I do like, dare I say, I like what I've got thrown together here. Could be better. Yeah. Could be worse. I think so. But we've got an arrangement, even though it's just basically the same 2 bits of, the verses, pre-chorus, and chorus kind of smushed together along with an intro and no outro right now. I feel like there could be some more fleshing out of the arrangement as it is. Of course, I could also cut some of the sections in half. So listen to what I guess would be the chorus here. I think I like this as. I think I do like this as so many bars here as it stands here, from here to here. But then I've got the verses. That's going to throw me for a loop as far as deciding. Because I figured at the beginning of the song, after the intro, start right off singing with this. And then second verse, where the piano just first. What's going on? I don't know. I can't take it anymore. What are you doing? Why are we doing this together? Blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that. But then it's hard to say if I should keep this second bit of the same section here. Should I keep another part? Yeah, I'll keep it. Okay, so I like this part here. I'm just kind of listening over how I want to structure this. And then we go to the next section again, pre-chorus. Maybe this pre-chorus could be shortened. Like here's a second round, of the tension. We've seen it all before, so I don't need to get into too much of it. Actually, yes. So I will do that. So to achieve that, I'm going to get back to the sequencer. I will split this down the middle. Insert bars. Can I? I can't split the clips. Mute clips, add clips. I remember there being a command I could just access from the context menu, I thought. Crop events to clips. Maybe that changed. Who knows? Maybe I could do this. This seems counterintuitive. However, let's see what we got. Insert bars between locators. That weirdly worked. Okay. Okay. So, I may have to do some adjusting, but let's do that, and let's do that. Oh, yes. Actually, select all these things, all these clips, move those over, and voila. So. A little weird, but revisiting that sort of tension in the pre-chorus and then jumping right in. Because we don't need that tension anymore, for so long. Oh gosh. I'm getting some ideas for plucked strings because I was of that mind. Kind of going back to some of the things I used to do. So that's the next thing I'll add. It's getting a bit dark in here, but you know what? I'm just going to go right on ahead. Let's see. I'm looking for the NN19, if I recall. Oop. Let's see. We still have that NN19, didn't we? I would hope so. Let's see. Right. Mono, add instrument. Oh, there it is. Right at the bottom. Cool. Alright. And now, I want to select our pizzicato strings. Alright, strings. Excuse me. For whatever reason, I really like the plucked strings from the NN19 sampler. I'm not sure why they appeal to me so much, but. Alright. And I'll just change the EQ here, bring up the low end a bit. Oops, wrong instrument. Cool. There we go. Cool. All right, let's go back here to the sequencer. I think I shouldn't have it every other beat like that. I should have it on the second beat only. It's like this. I think that doesn't wear it out too much. I could just use it on the second verse. Or on the second section of the song as opposed to the first. Kind of like building up some other pieces. There's something to be said about there's something to be said about judiciously using bits and parts of songs, and layering things in what might be considered an appropriate way. You don't want to. You want to try to avoid introducing all the layers at once all the time. This goes for, unless that's sort of the style you're going for, where wall of sound, everything all the time, and that is a valid choice to make. For a pop song, that might be a bit out of place, or in sort of like a pop arrangement. So it might be better serving the song to be more judicious of how, what sort of sounds and where you put them, what sort of sounds are used rather, and where you put them. And so in this case, adding some plucked strings. I really like plucked strings, having come from a classical music background. I played the piano, and so I just like the. You might be familiar with something like, to diverge a bit. And I know I'm not playing that accurately at all, but a reference to in the Hall of the Mountain King, and it's just a really kind of nice instrumentation choice that serves sort of like the creepiness of kind of tiptoeing through through this hall, this grand hall, or perhaps this really large cave where this mountain king lives, and then all of a sudden you hear this, after all those little tiptoes, and all of a sudden you have this rush of strings, like and brass and other instrumentation. But I digress. So, using instrumentation where it is appropriate for the song, so it can serve the song. So let's try to lay down some tracks here. Not perfect, but it's something. Again, I'm not going for total perfection here, which is something I've had to unlearn. I mean, don't get me wrong, seeking what would be your ideal rendering of a song and working toward that is a great goal to have. But the expectation of having it right there and right now immediately doesn't serve your own self, and it doesn't serve the song, ironically enough, or paradoxically, where I might have this what seems to me this beautiful idea of a song, and it's just all fleshed out in my brain, and I'm just raring to go, and I happen to be, say, like down the street from all my computers or all my music equipment, and my computer's turned off and what have you. So you run to the computer, and then you lose the idea. Of course, you can record some ideas to preserve as much of that as possible, and the expectation of that song may not line up with what actually happens, and sometimes that can be a good thing. As discovered through this process that I've done, there are happy accidents that occur where one encounters in the songwriting process an accident where I've never thought about this note, but I fat-fingered something, if you will, or I misplaced my finger on one note when it should have been on another, and I come up with a chord that sounds, for lack of a better word, gnarly, but it sounds really good in the context that it's been accidentally played. And then that deviates ever so slightly from what was the ideal song. So, and having it done right here, right now. And so it's just better to enjoy the process, appreciate the process as you're doing it while you're trying to work toward that goal. And if you need to make adjustments along the way, then that's perfectly fine. And this should go without saying, any goal is also adjustable in and of itself. So I might work on, say, this might start out as this sort of ambient, electronic, poppy kind of Muzak piece, which is perfectly fine for those who are so inclined. But then I might have an idea of saying, partway through the process, I really want to go for an industrial death metal feel or something like that. And all of a sudden, somehow that transforms into a completely different project from the one that was originally intended. Again, a perfectly valid choice, if that's what you want to go for. Now, given the arrangement I have here, as it stands, trying to work with what I've got, there are some mistakes. But it's a start. And that note, that chord was there. Let's see, where are we? So that's an F chord. Maybe that might sound good. Also, might want to move this. Why does that sound delayed? And I'm not talking about like a delay effect, but I'm talking about just like the triggering of the notes being off. That's kind of cool, but not what I'm going for. Maybe I should magnify this. See what's going on here. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's not good. Ooh, yeah, that's off by like a millimeter, so to speak. Okay, I can fix this. Take off the snap. And do that, do that, do that. Turn step back on and okay. Okay, cool. So let's figure out where the heck those notes are, because I don't see any here. Ah, I see what's happened. Okay. I was still zoomed in. Important to get your bearings. I'll move this up to a B. Oop. There we go. Alright, so this is okay. This is okay. So you know what? I'm going to leave it as is. I'm not going to concern myself with 100% perfection right now. I just want to make sure I get some sort of arrangement out. Let's work on seeing where we want to go from here. And we might just fall back to, we could just fall back to the intro as an outro, which can work. Yeah, I like this. Okay. So let's go back to the piano and let's record some notes. Kind of really quick and dirty, so to speak, arrangement here. Whoops. Well, that was anticlimactic. Alright, let's go back here. Turn that off. Okay. Oop. Re-record that. Something like that. Oh, that was sloppy. I mean, total perfection, no. Better keyboard playing, yes. Something like that. Just give it some sort of conclusion. Oops. And one last little bit I think I'm going to add before I end this, and all the torture here, is add an A minor chord here. Actually, I could just hit the record button as soon as I get the marker. to that point. Okay. Make sure I'm at the right octave on the keyboard. That's nice. Cool. All right. Cool. And I'll shorten that up. There we go. All right. So cheesy Muzak outro done. Okay, so hopefully my ramblings weren't too rambly and the generic stuff wasn't, well, I mean, it was generic, I'm not going to lie, but hopefully you enjoyed watching the process as I fumble through. And if there are any questions about what I'm doing, please feel free to comment. If you're on YouTube or if you're on Twitch, please feel free to like and subscribe. This tends to be my actual demeanor. I'm not too terribly extroverted, but yeah, so if you liked any part of this, or if there's anything you'd like to see an improvement on, apart from the song itself in terms of the presentation, feel free to let me know, and thank you for watching, and I'll hope to see you next time. Whatever that will be. I'll try to make this a semi-regular thing, maybe once a week or once every couple of weeks. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. I'll hopefully leave an announcement. Take care.